Well, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler program. It's August 31st. Yes, it is. I just had to look at the calendar and realize here we are at the end of the month, and we've been riding along, just having great conversations. And I want to say thank you all so much for tuning in, for joining me on these conversations. You all know how I do every Tuesday and Thursday. I show up for only 1,800 seconds, unless you all push me. But I'm here for 1,800 seconds, just trying to offer motivation and inspiration, trying to challenge us to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. It doesn't mean that today was a flop. It doesn't mean that today was a waste. It doesn't mean that today was a failure. It doesn't mean that today was not successful. It just means that we have taken the time to see how we can be better. So usually what I do, I'll just start with a conversation. I'll ask you guys a question. I'll offer you this probing thought. I think it's a probing thought. And then we'll just read some quotes and we'll just unpeel them and just see how they can apply to our life. So if you're just passing by for the first time, do me a favor. Give me only these 1,800 seconds. And I promise you, I'm going to do my best to try to inspire you. So let me just start by asking you this posing question. This is the question that I want to ask us all tonight. How conscious are you? How aware are you? How cognizant are you of the words that you use? Sometimes, have you ever heard the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones? Let's talk about that. But I just want to put that out there. I want to know, how aware are you of the words that you use? Are you aware of the impact that your words are going to have on everybody? Let's talk about all of that tonight, y'all. I'm really excited about our conversation this evening for so many reasons. But hey, do me a favor. Let somebody know that Cutler is here and that we are here as fellow passengers. We have a few things that we need to talk about, especially the words that we use. And we'll talk about all of that as soon as I come right back after this. Let's talk to Cutler. Do you all like that opening? I absolutely love that opening. That's a young lady named Devin. I think she has an absolutely beautiful voice. A friend of mine, Juan, pulled those vocals together by Devin, and I love it. Listen, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and shout out our LTTC VIPs for the evening. Those are the people who just hop right onto the chat room for the first three people to make it to the chat room. So I want to shout you all out. Annie Cutler says, let's ride. Mick Diner says, good evening all. Tracy Johnson says, hey, Cutler and everyone. I want to thank you all. You are my fellow passengers. Why do I say passengers? Because guess what, you all? We are riding along the highway of life. We are riding along the highway of life. So I wrote this book. It's called Billboards to Better. 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life, because I believe what we're doing each and every Tuesday and Thursday when we show up, we're taking these quotes, we're making them make sense, we're reading them. There's one for every day of the year, even if it's leap year. And then there's some bonus quotes in the back, you all. But I am a firm believer in affirmations. I'm a firm believer that each day we get a sign, we get an opportunity to become better tomorrow than we did today. And as we're riding along the highway of life, that's why we entreat each other as fellow passengers. That's why we entreat each other with courtesy. That is why we entreat each other with mutual respect. And that is why we welcome any and everybody to this platform, because there's room for better in all of our lives. And nobody wants to get to a space called better and end up and realize that you're there by yourself. All right. So I want to say thank you so much for you all showing up and for you being here. You all know what we've done. Usually on Tuesdays, we read quotes from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. On Thursday, we read quotes from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do this evening. I have one quote that I need to pull out of the hat, and then a bonus quote I'm going to share this evening. All right, let me tell you, because we've pretty much made our cycle through the book almost. I've been sending these out. I think the mail is slow, but y'all give me at least to next week, because I've dropped some even in the mail today. So let me know if you even when you get them. But I wanted to just share these bookmarks and just send them to you to say thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for making this journey. Thank you for being a fellow passenger. And if you are interested in just getting the bookmark to go along with your book, just let me know. Just drop me an email, send it to me at I was reading the comments. Just send it to me at the number two, talk2cutler at gmail.com. Let me put it here. There you go. Talk2cutler at gmail.com. And that's the number two. Just send me your address, and I promise you, I'll send this to you free of charge. It's just my way of saying thank you, because I value your time. I value the moments that you share with me. These 1,800 seconds mean so much to me. So I want to say thank you all for sharing them with me. All right. I want to go ahead and get started with the quotes. I really, really do. And I'm telling you, as we were putting these envelopes together and sending stuff to you all, it occurred to me, I think I've been mispronouncing one name, and I chuckled when I read it. So I want to say, Queen of them all, so glad to see you. I think I've been calling you Queen of them all, but I get it. It's Queen of them all. So thank you all so much for being here with me. All right, I want to go ahead and get started with the quotes. Today is August 31st. It is my uncle's birthday, my Uncle John's birthday. So happy birthday to him. But listen, you all, let me share this quote. And this quote says, if you remember the promises for your life, if you remember the promises for your life, you will avoid some of the pitfalls in your life. Hang on to your seats, because we're going to go somewhere with that. Let me just say a special hello to my good friend, Auntie's Advice Channel for Women. Auntie, it's always good to see you, my friend. All right, this quote again. If you remember the promises for your life, you will avoid some of the pitfalls in your life. You all let that marinate for a while. Take a look at it, and let's see if we can break that down. Because this particular quote reminds me, it's a reminder that we need to stop and take some time to reevaluate and refocus on our value. It's a reminder that you matter. And if the truth be told, you all, let me suggest this to you all. When it comes to inspiration and motivation, let me suggest this to you. You matter to a whole lot more people than you even realize. Some of you may recall on my previous broadcast when I talked about having an impact on the people's lives, and I talked about making sure that we're careful with the kinds of brushstrokes that we paint into other people's lives. I want you all to know that for every life you've ever touched, you matter. Every time you took the opportunity to pour or sow into somebody else's life, you matter. And on a very practical scale, every time you smiled at someone, every time you listened to someone when they spoke, every time you acknowledged someone when they showed up, you matter, you all. To somebody, you are their whole entire lives. And the reason you matter is because you had something inside of you that mattered. You had something of value, something of substance to deposit, something of value to invest. You have a gift worth sharing. You have a talent worth displaying. That's what I want to get across to us this evening. In a day and age when everybody's trying to be front and center stage, trying to brag and boast about who they are, trying to tout their accomplishments and gloat about their successes, you matter. Yes, you do. You matter if you never walk on a stage. You matter if you never speak in a microphone. You matter if you never appear on a camera. I just want you to treat yourself like you matter. That's all. Because this says, if you remember the promises for your life, you will avoid some of the pitfalls in your life. What am I saying there? Sometimes we are careless with our lives because we don't think we matter. Sometimes we're negligent with our affairs because we don't think we matter. Sometimes we are haphazard with our hearts, you all. Why? Because we don't think we matter. I want to be transparent, even share conversations I've shared with my nieces and my nephews and my family members and friends. We give our hearts, our lives, our attention to some of anybody because we don't always see our own beauty, our own worth, and our own value. I'm not saying that we're better than anybody else, but I am saying this, and I'll stand by it until the day I die. I am saying that we are better than a whole lot of situations and circumstances that we allow ourselves to fall into when we don't recognize the value in our lives. That was a mouthful, and y'all know I'm from the country. When I get excited, I speak quickly. So let me say that again. I am not suggesting, I'm not saying that we are better than anybody else. But what I am saying is this, you all, we are better than a whole lot of situations and a whole lot of circumstances that we allow ourselves to fall into. when we don't recognize the value in our lives and the promises over our lives. I think if we realize the value of our life, you all, we will be more careful with how we handle our life. I think if we realize the value of our life, that we will be careful with how we manage our life, with how we navigate through life, and with all the people that we sometimes invite into our lives. Lord have mercy. I was participating today in this summit. It wasn't a workshop, it was a summit. I was participating in this summit. And one of the keynote speakers was talking about how she used to look at herself, how she looked at her face. She's an Alaska native, and how she speaks. She speaks a language that not a lot of people speak. She talked about how she looked at the culture and the customs of her people, even at the food that she eats. And she said she used to think very little of herself until one day she realized, you all, that she was beautifully and wonderfully and masterfully created in the image and the likeness of the Creator. And she said she began to think more of herself because He doesn't make junk. And may I tell you all that it was a virtual meeting, but I wanted to jump straight through that screen and yell amen as loudly as I could, because somehow it resonated with me. Why would you say that? Because I remember days of walking around, years of walking around, not really thinking that I mattered to a whole lot of people. You all know I share with you all these transparent moments. I remember days and years of walking around, not really thinking that I mattered to a whole lot of people. I knew there was some to whom I mattered, but not a whole lot. And there were times when I sometimes thought that God Himself might even be oblivious to my existence. Does God even know I'm here? What I know is this, you all. When you feel like you don't matter, it's reflected in how you behave. And you begin to engage in self-destructive behavior. You're subject to self-sabotaging thoughts, and you're subject to suicidal tendencies. But when you remember that you've got promises over your life, you'll reconsider how you live. I hope I'm helping somebody tonight, because it's true. I'm just trying to help save somebody's life, you all. When you remember that you have promises over your life, you will reconsider how you live, how you be, where you go, how you show up, and who you invite in. You'll stop devaluing yourself. Whenever I'm sharing with you all, I have to tell you that these thoughts keep flowing into my head. And as soon as I just said you will stop devaluing yourself, what came to me is that, you see, people can't buy you if you don't sell yourself cheap. God Almighty. People can't buy you if you don't sell yourself cheap. See the value in yourself. Most of us know for ourselves that when we have something of value, we know how to treat it. We know where we are careful with how we treat it, where we drive it, when we wear it, and who we let use it. And I just think, you all, that sometimes people don't realize the promises that they have over their lives. That's why it's important to me to be genuine and authentic with you all during these 1800 seconds, because sometimes we don't recognize the promises that we have over our lives. And may I say this to you all while I hold on to this chair. For me, it's not always what I have in my life that makes me valuable. It's not always what I have in my life that makes me valuable, you all, but it is sometimes what I have over my life that makes me valuable. Say that again. It's not always what I have in my life, but sometimes it's what I have over my life that makes me valuable. And what I have over my life are the promises and the provisions and the protection and the peace of the one who said, let there be. Good God Almighty. That's why it's important for me when we show up in this space. That's why I love reading your comments. That's why I love getting your emails. That's why I love hearing from you all. When you realize that it's not always what you have in your life, but sometimes it's what you have over your life that makes you valuable. Tracy, you're right. You'll teach people how to treat you. You remind them you can't talk to me any kind of way, and you can't treat me like I'm dirt on the street. always want you all to know, because sometimes when this quote says, if you remember the promises for your life, sometimes we go, well, what promises are you talking about? So I suggest to you that you have the promises over your life from the one who says, I am your strength. I will never leave you. I have plans to prosper you. I will always hear you. I will fight for you. I will give you peace. You have those promises over your life. You have the promises that says, I will always love you and I will never forsake you. Those are promises, you all. Promises. Those are the promises you have over your life. And sometimes we don't realize that there is something and someone greater than we are who declares promises over our lives. And so when you realize that, I'm loving your comments. When you realize that, when you realize your value, you're absolutely right. You set your boundaries and you stick to them, and you don't let people trespass the boundaries that you set. You don't let people cause you to compromise the boundaries that you set. I think if we can just focus on the promises, we'll strive to avoid the pitfalls. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. If we focus on the promises, and Cutler, what does that mean? It means you've got to remind yourself, you've got to rehearse it over and over in your mind. You've got to learn, you all, that whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, think on those things, focus on those things. And what am I saying tonight? I'm taking this time to reevaluate rather, so that I can focus on my future and not on my failures. So that I can focus on my uprisings and not my downfalls. So I can focus on my miracles and not my mistakes. I hope I'm helping somebody this evening. So I've decided these days, you all, I don't know about you, but I've decided these days that I'm not trying to win the popularity contest. So I don't need a whole lot of people in my life tugging at me and pulling me in all different kinds of directions. I just need people who will remind me not to be careless with my life. Why? Because I've been careless enough long enough. And I need people to remind me that my life is filled with precious jewels, and that if I run into pitfalls, I might just damage them and crack them and break them. I need people to I need people to remind me to get a demonstration. If you've got to fill up a cup of water and sit it in your house somewhere to remind you that your life is filled with promises. I need people in my life who are going to help me do that. And so I hope I'm offering you some modicum of that every time we share these 1800 seconds. Because the last thing that you want to happen, if you're driving a car that has crystal and fine china in it, the last thing you want to do is hit a pothole. It's the same way in life, you all. When you remember that you are carrying things of value, you will avoid the pitfalls as best as you can. And you remember not to let people in your car who would disrespect the fact that you have something of value on board. If you remember the promises for your life, then you will avoid some of the pitfalls in your life. Mr. Cutler, where are you reading from? Where are you pulling those quotes from? I'm pulling them from right here. I'm pulling them from this book, Billboards to Better. These are the kinds of quotes that I felt inspired to share with you all. That's why we come together during this time and during this space, you all. That is why I say it doesn't mean that today was a failure. It doesn't mean today was a flop. It doesn't mean that today was not filled with success and victory. It means that we are evaluating the opportunity to see how we can take just a little bit more and show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. I was driving along and I was thinking, what could I share? How can I tell my fellow passengers that today I was better than I was yesterday? What did I do? Did I do anything better today than I did yesterday? We're being made aware of the fact that better is certainly obtainable. All right, I want to go to another quote, but you all, this quote I want to go to. His eyes on sparrows hiking, and heard this bird singing when I thought of it. Yes. I want to go to one of the bonus quotes because I've often made reference to them, and I said that somewhere in the back of the book, There's some bonus quotes. So I want to go to one of these bonus quotes. I want to go to one of these bonus quotes because y'all know I only have 1,800 seconds, and you all try to push me sometimes to go beyond it. But I love this time and I love this space. So let me say thank you. Whatever space you've allowed me to come into, I don't take it for granted. I want to thank you for that. Whether it's your living room, your dining room, your car, your porch, if you're walking or biking or whatever you're doing, thank you for allowing me to share this space. I'm encouraged that you would offer me this space to share. I want to share another quote with you all. So I want to put this up because it is a bonus quote and I want to make sure that you get it. This quote says, it's in the back of the book, your mouth is like a motor. It would either move you or immobilize you. I'm going to let that run across the bottom of the screen. This quote, and it's in the back of the book, you all, it says, your mouth is like a motor. It would either move you or immobilize you. And you all heard me at the beginning of the conversation. I said, have you ever given consideration, a thoughtful consideration to your words? Are you careful with the words that you use? Do you choose them with care? Some of you all know that at the beginning of the month, I recommitted myself to healthy living and healthier eating and exercise. And I started by walking 1 mile and then 2 and then 2.5. And y'all, guess what? Now I'm up to 5 miles and I love it. I'm having so much fun, so I'm up to 5 miles and I feel really good. But you all, it requires discipline. It requires being focused on the goal. It requires accountability. And it requires being responsible to some degree for my own success and not my failure. So here's what I want to do for the next month. For the next month, I am going to continue everything that I've been doing this far. I'm going to get to this quote. I'm going to make this quote relevant and make it make sense. I'm going to keep on doing whatever I've been doing this month. I'm going to add another exercise to my routine, but I'm also going to be very aware, very conscious, very cognizant, and very assiduous and very punctilious of the words that I use. I have to. I believe words have power. I believe that what you say matters. I believe that, I'm telling you all, I believe this. I believe in the power of words, how they influence. I believe that words have the power of death and life. And I believe that we have the power to speak those things that are not as though they were. I can't help but share this with you all. I believe that when I pray, all I have to do is believe, and what color I can have what I say. That's what I believe. So when I talk about how your mouth is like a motor, it can either move you or mobilize you. Words are important to me. I believe in the manifestation of the mouth. That's a funny way of saying it. But you all, when you keep saying people make you sick, you end up with a headache every time you see them. And you keep saying, oh, they worry me to death. You get plagued with anxiety and you find yourself heading to an early grave. Stop saying that stuff. So I invite you all for these next 30 days. If you would be so inclined, I invite you all to join me these next 30 days as I go on what one of my friends call word guard. But what I call it is patrolling my speech and my words and my vernacular. Sometimes we just need to watch what we say. And that's why I love this quote. Our mouths are like a motor. Depending upon what we say, they will move us, or either they will mobilize us. Sometimes we talk ourselves right into fear and failure and right out of our blessings. Sometimes we forfeit our promises, you all, by the words we use. You all do know that you all do know that words have power. Words have power. I'm chuckling. One person said, I have you on my 85-inch TV almost like you're here. Thank you for allowing me in that space. I appreciate it. Thank you for I appreciate that so very much. Don't you let me break your 85-inch TV. That is funny to me. Our words have power, you all. And I just invite you to join me as I patrol my words, my speech, my vernacular. Understand that your words will forfeit the goodness that's coming to you, and you don't want that to happen. Sometimes we close doors and opportunities by the words we use, you all. Sometimes we close doors on opportunities not only by the words we use, but by the way that we handle people with our words. People who would otherwise be blessings to our lives. We forfeit the blessings that they could be and that they could bring. I'm just saying it. What people who might otherwise be our friends and our support, we hurt them with our words. I'm just putting that out there for thought and for consideration because I am so serious about that. We don't want to be one of those persons who hurt people with our words, you all, and then never go back to apologize. Shame on us. Shame on those of us who have tainted and tarnished, blemished, and besmirked the lives of other people with our words. Shame on us. I know that's none of you, but shame on those who have done us like that. I believe that one of the biggest lies ever told was that sticks and stones may break my bones. Y'all know where I'm going with this. Y'all know where I'm going with this. Our words will, yes, cause people to run a negative tape in their lives and in their minds over and over and over and over and over again. One of the greatest lies ever told, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. That is a lie. Because mishandling, here's what I know. I've lived long enough to know this, you all. Mishandling and misusing words have landed some people in an early grave. Don't tell me words don't hurt. Mishandling and misusing words have caused some people to be institutionalized. Don't tell me words won't hurt. Mishandling and misusing words have caused relationships to go sour. Don't tell me words don't hurt. I'm telling you. Mishandling and misusing words have destroyed people's homes and reputations and careers. Don't tell me that words never hurt. All I want to say is this: words are killing lives. Let's use our words to build lives. Let's use our words to build lives, you all. I want to conclude our conversation this evening. Two poems I think I want to read. You heard me in the first quote saying, if you remember the promises over your life, and I went on to say that I never want us to think that we are better than anybody else, but we are better than so many circumstances and situations that we allow ourselves to fall into. So what I want to remind us of this evening as we conclude is that we are loved, that we are loved. So I'm going to read this poem. You may have heard me read it, but I'm going to read I Am Loved, and it's from my book titled Who We Once Were. All of these books, my books are available over on Amazon.com, so you could go over there and get them. They are available. Out of the 7 books, 6 of them are available over on Amazon.com. This poem says, when there are lemons in your life, Natural Diva, good to see you. When there are lemons in your life and blahs in your days, when there are oceans in your path and mountains in your ways, don't stop to wonder. No, don't miss a beat. Simply tell yourself, I am larger than this, for I am loved. I am loved matchlessly, unconditionally, invisibly. You see, yes, I am loved. When in your mind there is confusion and in your heart there is pain. When there are no stars in your night, but your days are filled with rain, don't weep and wonder, don't ever skip a tune. Simply tell yourself, I am better than this because I am loved. I am loved perpetually, undeservingly, like no other. I tell you, I am loved. When anxiety overwhelms you and uncertainty overtakes you, when insecurity befriends you and all your fears come to shake you, do not only look without, for you must look within. Simply tell yourself, I am greater than this because I am loved. I am loved without a limit beyond measure or degree. I am greater than my circumstances, for I know assuredly God loves me. May I say thank you all so very much. Thank you all so very much for spending these 1,800 seconds with me. Thank you. My thanks to those of you who are going to join me on this 30-day journey of guarding our words, patrolling our speech, and patrolling our vernacular, and being very assiduous about the words that we use, cognizant of what we speak over our lives, into our lives, and into the lives of others. Just like my exercise has taken discipline, I'm sure that this will take discipline as well. But I'm going to look forward to chatting with you all every Tuesday and Thursday as a measure to say, you all, I did it. And I hope that you all will say the same thing. And guess what? If you falter by the way, keep right on going. Get up and keep on going. We got 30 days to guard our words and speak life over our lives and into the lives of others. You all know, listen, do me a favor. Let's keep building, let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Stay safe and stay sane. Keep your heads up, keep your hopes up. And until the next time you see me, guard your words and know this, that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Good night, you all. Guard your words. You can do it.